Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Strap up your headgear and try not to hit the mat too hard. This is Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling National Champion Ridge Lovett.
Oh my goodness.
It hits up.
Short time.
Right down to the wire.
Time.
And the drought is over. Nebraska with a national champion for the first time since 2011. What started in Post Falls, Idaho, is punctuated in Philadelphia. Ridge Lovett in his 6th year, a title winner.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Stevens & Smith Construction and the Teammates Mentoring Program. With your look inside Husker Wrestling, here is your host, Ridge Lovett.
Welcome to Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm your host, Ridge Lovett. With me today, got my boy DP in the studio. But first, I'd like to tell you about our sponsor, Stevens & Smith Construction. Takedown Tuesday on 93.7 The Ticket is sponsored by Stevens & Smith Construction. Stevens & Smith Construction is an employee-owned company with nearly 250 employees with over 2,000 years of service combined. They lead the industry as a full-service concrete company specializing in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. Stevens & Smith has locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City. You can learn more today at stevenssmith.com. If you got any comments or questions, you can be a part of the show by texting our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line at 402-464-5685 or by leaving a comment on our Facebook, X, or YouTube stream. You can also call into the show on the Honda of Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685. All right. So got my boy DP in here with me today. Was gone last week. I was in Hawaii out there showing some wrestling. And right before we got in here, me and DP were talking about everything that's been going on in Hawaii, the UFC stuff with the wrestling stuff. So, yeah, it's just been it was a crazy week for me. Got to go out there. Was eating all kinds of crazy food. But, it was an awesome trip. They flew me out there, flew my girlfriend out there, got to teach some wrestling, interact with some of the kids. Had the locals show me around the island a little bit. And we had a real good time. It was awesome.
What was the favorite meal?
Favorite meal? I don't know if I had a favorite. Actually, no, Moco Loco. Got some like hamburger meat, right? Just that on top of some rice with some eggs on top, some gravy. Oh my gosh, it was insane. But the fruit,
it's a different level.
It is a different level. It was better. Went down there. Where we were staying on the Big Island, there was a black sand beach, half mile from where we were at. So we went down there and we were walking back, and there was a dude selling mangoes. 10 mangoes, $5. So yeah, let me get some of those. Oh my gosh.
It's the best fruit, it's the best juice. They do these blends of combinations of real fruit. Yeah, real fruit, right? And you go, okay, this is different. And then to have the pulp that you just take a spoon afterwards, right? That sits at the bottom of it. It's just all of a sudden you're wide awake.
So
you're wide awake. Your blood's a little bit lighter, and you figure out okay. And then you have to resist the convenience of going to a place that is a national place. Stay local. Allow the local folks to feed you because it's going to be better for you. And they eat. They eat. So we were out there for the the Diamond Head Classic. Husker basketball was out there. So we went out for a week or so. Caught some. There was what used to be the Hula Bowl. I don't even know what it is. I think it's the Diamond Head Classic as well. So basketball and football, same time. Enjoyed ourselves. Got to see the campus. Got to see the island. Did some of the tourist stuff. Ate too much. But meeting the people. It is a different sports world. It's a different physicality. It's a different mentality. It's family over everything.
Absolutely.
And these are big personalities and big people. So it's always interesting to hear how folks in the mainland and in the Midwest view that when they go over. Because
I thought that the best part for me was how gracious and respectful everybody there was. Because especially with the wrestlers, because it's a pretty penny to get off the island, to come out here, to travel, to go to camps, to go to tournaments. So when they brought me in, like, these kids were stoked. They really wanted to be at the camp. They were asking a whole bunch of questions, and that was one of the things they were talking about before. They're like, yeah, like the Q&A, like, I don't really know what to expect. Like, we haven't really done anything like this before. So Q&A was awesome. They were asking good questions. They were locked in the whole time. And I really think that it might be like the best 2 clinics that I've ever done.
That's a lot.
It was good. It was awesome.
How many people?
The first one, we probably had just under 100. And then the next day I ran like just a practice for them, because they were doing some freestyle and Greco stuff, getting ready for Fargo. And then they were like, hey, like, you were pretty good at Greco. Like, you want to? I was like, yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Girlfriend went to the beach. I went in, ran a practice. Everybody was happy. Got to hang out with the kids some more. It just like, and gifts. Gifts are really big. Hooking me up with the Hawaiian chocolates,
So nice.
Hawaiian candies,
Macadamia.
Yep.
The chocolate macadamia nuts is go.
I haven't dug into the shortbread yet, but they were telling me about it.
Well, they had there's a couple of former Huskers who live on the island, and Gwen Mahea, who bowled here, is on the island. So when we were out there, we went and had breakfast. But her family would come to Lincoln, and they would bring in this Hawaiian meal that they would make with rice, spam, rice, egg, etc. And they would make this, and I'm going, okay, it's probably not my thing. Take one bite, and then you apologize. You immediately apologize, like, I'm sorry for. And then they brought these candies that her mom would make, and yeah, it's too much.
I was a little nervous because I'm not a big seafood guy. No. Seafood's not really my thing. But I was like, you know what? We're going to Hawaii. They put something in front of me. I'm going to eat it. And pretty much everything was fire. It was all real good.
So the mahi-mahi.
Yep.
The salmon there is good. It's pretty much any fish that they smoke, I'm gonna be okay with.
We went to a couple poke spots. Yeah. My boy Bobby, the one who I was mainly in contact with getting me out there, his sister's ex-boyfriend, their parents own a poke place.
Yeah.
We walk in there, Bobby, auntie, uncle was good, dap them up. Yeah, here $2. You had 6 plates.
And all feed you.
Hooked it up, gave him the homie discount. Ran in some Kahlua pork, some.
Did you do a luau?
No, didn't do a luau.
Your next trip, and I don't mean the corporate luau where you go out on a cruise and then you come back. I mean like a family pig in the ground.
Yeah, real deal.
The real deal, and it makes you talk to yourself because you're just like, wait a minute, we don't have this sort of, like, this is different, and it's
the island life,
right? And it's funny too that wrestling, collegiate wrestling, and its place there, because professional wrestlers, they get into it early over there, like professional style wrestling, they start that at like 10.
Well, and they're starting to do a lot of MMA, Holloway. EJ Penn, like they've had some huge names come from the island.
Yeah.
So they're really into that. They said that the whole island was crazy when Holloway's fighting and lose it. But judo's huge too. Lots of judo.
That's been the evolution. And I think it's always funny that, and the same is true for football, that the Polynesian Pacific Island evolution is always the mirror to what's coming. College football coaches realized and recognized, okay, we need to really start dancing on these islands a little bit, and that the return on investment is so high. One, there's not a lot of people, but the ones that are there, oh my goodness, they are built for it, and they are waiting for an opportunity.
Big people, they're athletic, they're hardworking. And they're all, like, every kid that I met there, they were great kids.
Loyal to the mission, right? That nothing that self is never bigger than the family. And they're that way as athletes. They're that way as coaches. Quite a few of the guys who went, my time in Utah and BYU were really big in that community in recruiting. Then it moved to the Pac-12 with USC, Oregon, Washington, et cetera. And then it's slowly starting to get to some of the other pockets where folks will start to realize this is a unique level of talent, different kind of worker, and it'll be the future of how Nebraska knows that it needs to recruit Polynesian football players. Like it knows trying to find a coach who can get into those windows, vital work. Vital.
And, like when I was out there, so Dylan Raiola was Snapchatting me saying what's up. And he's from there, right? So it's like, even I didn't know he was from there. I was pretty sure. I thought he was from Georgia. I'm out there. He's like, yeah, like if you need any recommendations on where to go, let me know. And again, that was the number one quarterback in his class, Polynesian. Right? We've seen it before, like Mariota, and like they like football down there.
Tua Tango Vailoa. There's a whole process of the different kind of athlete that's coming. It started mainly with linemen, then it went to specialists, so running backs and kick returners and that sort of thing. Then the linebacker evolution, and then it kind of went back to linemen, offensive and defensive. And they split a little bit on the type of athlete they were looking at. But man, the idea of those young athletes getting into wrestling, MMA,
wrestling's still a little young out there. I went to Oahu and I was on the Big Island. And on Oahu, Coach Mark Bulow, Flow Academy, they've got some good stuff going. They got some tough dudes. They're traveling. They're doing all that stuff. But traveling off the island's tough. I was asking them like, so like, do you do like island hopping at all? They're like, that's like not really a thing,
right?
Really, So for them to like get off the island is always a big deal. But that's why it was cool, like bringing me out there. They got to save some money. They got to bring high level wrestling in. Yeah, sorry about that. Had a little alarm going off. But yeah, so on the Big Island, they had just had their first USA Wrestling tournament this year, which is a big deal because USA Wrestling is the governing body for all youth wrestling in the United States. Right, so before that, they were just running it through their high school, little local kind of gigs. But they're the guy who's actually out there running it now on the Big Island. He's from North Bend, originally North Platte, and he was coaching in North Bend for a little bit. And Connor Norton, good dude, and he's really helping them to make some strides, start to kind of catch up a little bit. Oahu, they're right with the game, doing a lot of the good stuff. But he just started Connor just started a kids club. They're on the far South Island. I was 15 minutes from South Point, that like touristy destination on the Big Island where everyone wants to go. Like that's where we were. That's where he's running his club, and he's helping coach out of the high school, doing some football, doing some wrestling out there. But they're kind of playing catch up a little bit, and that's kind of what I was telling the kids at the end. I'm like, hey, like you guys should be proud of where you're at. You should be proud of what you're doing. Like I understand it's all real new, but it's only up.
How are the resources? Because I know for football, for other sports, sometimes the resources, maybe they don't have enough equipment. They run a lot of camps where the big marketing companies and the big apparel companies will go out and donate pads, shoes, cleats.
They could definitely use some of that.
Yeah.
Could definitely use some of that. Like the way that they were explaining it to me was like the Big Island's more country. This is where like people are working. This is where they have their cows. This is where they're running their farms, the macadamia, that stuff. But and the gym, the facility that we were using is, from what I understood it, didn't belong to the school. Okay. That was like a community gym.
Okay.
They use it for their school events, camps, basketball games, all that stuff. But, the resources will be tough for sure. But the kids love it. They were bought in. And like I said earlier, it was probably one of the best camps I've ever done just because of, like, they wanted to be there. That's something that it's hard to have that at every camp, because even like when I do camps around here, like some of the kids, like they're going to a Ridge Lovett camp. This is their 4th or 5th one. They're like, yeah, okay, it's another Ridge Lovett camp, whatever. But down there, they like this was new to them.
Yeah, big deal.
It was a huge deal. They were so happy. I did the peace sign pose. Yeah. Probably took like 200 pictures with them. They're like, this is so awesome.
Right.
Kids running up to my girlfriend, having her sign their shoes. It was like heartwarming. It made me feel really good, and like I was like really making a difference helping these kids out.
Sidebar: how's she doing? Because she's going through her. How's she doing?
So she's doing good. She didn't get on the surfboard. We didn't do a lot of hiking.
Okay. I was wondering what that would have been.
It's going pretty good. She's walking. She was I was talking to her before I came over here, and she was almost running.
Okay. She
was speed walking, slow jogging, kind of hopping on the Stairmaster, getting up. Yep. They're like, go a little faster. So she's doing well. She's getting back. No brace, no nothing. Her sister's still kind of going through it. Yeah. But my girlfriend's little sister got in a car accident.
Prayers up, man.
Yep, the one on the interstate just outside Waverly. It was pretty bad, but still waiting. Skin graft on her arm. That hasn't happened yet, but they have the temporary one on there. She's doing good. She went to Target the other day. They were wheeling her around in a wheelchair. Yeah. Don't have the hard cast on. I don't know if they're gonna do a hard cast on her ankle, but full ankle reconstruction. Yeah. So they're all. And then the middle sister, she just broke her thumb. She wanted to be a part of the injured crew. So, can't let the other sisters have all the fun.
Right.
But, yeah, everybody over there, they're doing well. Spirits are high. Recovery's going pretty good, as good as it can be. Hallie's way ahead of the game with her knee surgery.
I'm glad you guys got the trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's there. So you mentioned the governing body, because I'm always fascinated about how that breaks down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's state to state, sometimes it's region, sometimes it's level. Mm-hmm. So what is the governing body for?
It is like USA Wrestling. They govern Olympic teams, world teams, national teams, and then they put on Fargo high school nationals for all the states to bring their teams, and then it's state.
So does that actually happen? So is it every state champion?
Kind of. So, like, if you win your state, Freestyle or Greco, you qualify yourself for nationals.
Okay.
And then there's also other qualifiers. Like, you can go to Western regionals, and if you place at your region, you qualify, and there's other different ways to do it.
So there's Greco-Roman nationals and a foundation that governs that in full. I would imagine USA has its rules and regulations for that. And then for folks that don't know, the traditional high school state wrestling. Folk style falls under that. Does the same layout state champions?
State tournaments there, that's all high school governing bodies.
Okay.
They do have a USA state.
Okay.
But I do not believe you have to qualify to go to preseason or postseason folk style nationals.
But I would imagine, so if you're saying that depending on the class that you wrestle in, so if it's 1A up to 6A or 7A, Texas, which has its own set of rules, that all of those state champions then advance and have the ability to compete at this.
So for freestyle and Greco, they only have USA state.
Okay.
None of that's happening. Okay. But see,
but wouldn't that be really cool though?
I think that's a whole nother conversation. Folk style is my favorite. I'm best at folk style, and that's what we wrestle in America. But the entire rest of the world only wrestles freestyle and Greco. We're the only country in the world that wrestles folk style. And then we're expecting our Olympians who have wrestled folk style from the time they were 4 to the time they're 24 to make the switch to only freestyle or to only Greco and to compete with the rest of the world who have been doing it their entire lives.
So what's the right resolution in your mind? Commissioner, you're commissioner.
Yeah,
Commissioner
I think wrestling switches to 2 seasons.
Okay.
Or as a country, we pick one style that we're going to be really good at. If we want to do freestyle, that's where most people watch. Greco doesn't have the audience base, and I think that's a rules issue and the product of wrestling that comes because of the rules. Like Mijan Lopez just won his 6th Olympic gold medal in Greco, and he doesn't do anything. It's super boring to watch. You can't turn him. He can turn you, and you can't take him down. The dude weighs 300 pounds. He's 6'5". He's ginormous. Like, people can't take him down. In Greco, if you can't take them down, they call it passive. Put one person down, you get a point. You try to turn them, doesn't work. All right, wrestle, no more points. Other guy, passive, you're down. Well, you can't turn Mijan, he's going to turn you. So
I guess there should be some difference between the wrestler that excels at folk style, freestyle, and Roman Greco. Generally, what are those traits?
For Greco, it's sticking to the plan, not giving up points, being stingy, not taking risks you don't need. But then in freestyle, it's offensive based. Like Kyle Dake, really good defensively. He scores a lot of points there. So really good defensively with decent attacks. Or Jordan Burroughs, extremely good offensively and so much offense that the other guy doesn't even get a chance to attack.
Defending so much so. And then for coaches, so for Coach Manning, who has his oars in all the water, but how do you make that decision?
Yeah, it's wrestler based, depending on what your kid's excelling at, and that's where being a good coach comes in. Coach Manning had JB, and he turned him into the greatest offensive wrestler America's ever seen. Right there with John Smith, two of them with Olympic golds, bunch of world medals, and that's why they're the GOATs. And then you also have Kyle Dake, who's winning world championships, winning Olympic medals, and he's defense.
Is that said enough that Nebraska, Mark Manning, Jordan Burroughs at the top of the echelon, top of the mountain when it comes to that type of wrestling? Do we say it enough? Is it said enough?
I don't think so. I think preach it from the rooftops.
Right.
But it's pretty known that JB's the GOAT. Okay. In America, he's the GOAT. Well, there's some Russians and stuff who got him beat.
Because we were having
medal-wise,
we were having a discussion about that. So maybe it's the thing I can ask you about a national Mount Rushmore of wrestling and a Nebraska Mount Rushmore of wrestling. And I think those would be two entirely different conversations.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll get into the Mount Rushmores right after this. Don't go anywhere. More Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling comes your way next on 93.7.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
With your look inside Husker Wrestling, here is your host, Ridge Lovett, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling. I'm Ridge Lovett. I got my boy DP in the studio with me today. Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Mm-hmm. Right?
What are the rules? So what are the rules for let's say national? Is it national championships? Is it
because there's college and then there's international. We're talking about the dudes that were the best in the world or the guys that were the best in the country. A lot of times, the guys that had success here as well, like with Jordan Burroughs, Hodge Trophy winner, 2-time national champ, USA GOAT, in my mind. Okay. My dad, he might argue for John
Smith.
Gable, he's up there. Yep, Kale's up there. See, Kale, undefeated in college. Won 3 or 4 Hodge Trophies. But then his international career was quick. 1-2 years.
And so having a discussion in town right now is the 2000 gold medal winner Rulon Gardner. And what he did for wrestling
did was huge.
Right? So part of the discussion
Beat the
was
Russian Bear,
right?
Alexander Karelin, who had won like 200-some matches straight, Olympic golds, world golds. See the pictures of him.
International
like
goal. Yeah. International.
Monster.
Like he was a savage.
Never got his medal stripped for steroids, so that's a whole nother debate. You look at that guy, and it's like, yeah, sure, natural. Me too, buddy. Me too. I could look like that. Shoot. Call USADA, because something's going on.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, that there are certain wrestlers who set the world standard, right? And then there's the international in one feature or another, and then there's, the American wrestlers who you have to mention in order to tell the story of American wrestling, whether it be freestyle, Greco-Roman, Olympic, whatever way you want to have the discussion.
Bruce Baumgartner.
Okay.
He's before me, but bunch of medals.
Yep.
He was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
John Smith won the Olympics, won 3 world titles, won another Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have won another world title. He might have 6. No, he has 5. JB, 6-time world champ.
No.
And see, JB's on there, two-time NCAA champ, Hodge Trophy winner. Lots of gold. All I see is gold.
So what was the difference between Gable and I mean, now you got to talk about Gable Stevenson.
Yeah.
Right. You got to add that to the conversation. But also that Cale Sanderson and Gable had different levels of success on the international scale. Why?
Well, they were similar. Like Gable wrestled in 1 Olympics, didn't give up a point, won. But then he was done.
Yeah.
But then you got to think about his coaching career, his 30, 40-some years that he did at Iowa, and won an unbelievable. They went on a 10-year stretch of NCAA titles. They were then what Penn State is now.
Mm-hmm.
All the top recruits, everybody wanted to go to Iowa, wrestle for Coach Gable. And he won 20-some NCAA titles. I don't know if he missed a team trophy the whole time he was there. So
was he a better coach or wrestler?
That's a debate. But Gable was only a 2-time national champ. Because when he was wrestling, he only had 3 years. He didn't wrestle your freshman year. And he was undefeated, 1-2, undefeated, and took second. He only lost 1 college match ever. It was his very last one. So a guy from Washington, don't have a program anymore, which is a problem. But right,
that's a whole hour of having to choose and what the current condition and future condition of NCAA sports, how that impacts, because there are some programs that may come back and there may be some programs that go away.
Yeah. See, that's where we're at with the cuts that are happening now, and with like transition in college sports, with the revenue share. I don't know where wrestling's going to, I don't totally understand the revenue share, like everything that's going to come with that. But from what I've heard, talking to coaches, talking to different people, some programs are opting out of it. Because they're like, this isn't going to.
Or they think they're opting.
They think they're opting.
They think they're, because if there's 5 people to opt out and then you're not allowed to compete against the others, you're quickly going to opt back in.
And then there's other coaches that are like, I don't see this as good for wrestling. At Nebraska, we take care of everybody. We're fine. I'm not worried about Nebraska at all. We're in a good spot. Best finish ever. Coach Manning's still running the ship. You know, we're in a good spot, bringing in good recruits. We talked about that last week on the show. Those guys that we got coming in, pretty high-level class. Excited for them. And, you know, just had 2 individual national champs. Like, lots of eyes on Nebraska. Lots of talk. 3 finalists, 7 All-Americans, like
2
8 All-Americans.
back-to-back.
8 All-Americans.
Come on.
From 8 different states.
Come on.
We're doing it different out here, bringing people from everywhere.
So what is the Mount Rushmore for Nebraska wrestling?
Jordan Burroughs at the top.
Okay.
James Green's on there. Didn't win a national title, but was winning world medals. Had made world. I don't know how many teams Greasy made.
Yeah. Still at it.
From when I started watching international wrestling until I was in the room training with him, this dude was on world teams. That's what he did. He was the best wrestler in America.
Just in the gym every day. Like on
Killed
the mat every day.
Right. That's why, like, at Nebraska, it's almost hard not to be successful, because look who you're wrestling with every day. You have Jordan Burroughs coaching. You got JB and Berger.
Who can still flip you.
Yeah. Watch out. Coach Mo don't play. Manny don't play. Snyder, he's in there. That's how you know that you're ready to go do some stuff, is when you can beat Snyder.
So you're talking about, because the reason I wanted to have the conversation is it resets the standard, right? That what was Nebraska wrestling 12 months ago, it's not what it is now, nor is it what it's going to be going forward.
Exactly.
So in establishing this Mount Rushmore, it's the thing that if you're trying to recruit wrestlers to Nebraska, that's the story you're going to tell. You can tell, it's easy to tell the story of 2024. But what set the foundation for that lets you know how great this was and then what's next.
And I'm excited for what's coming next. And what I think was a big part of what happened is, like, we don't really lose guys. People stay at Nebraska. They graduate, and Mikey Labs, CJ Red, they're both coaching Division I, so they're gone. But Schultz is in the room. Lance is in the room. Liam's in the room. I'm staying. Caleb Smith's staying, right? The only, like, major person that's transferred while we've been here was Lenny.
And we understood it.
We understood it completely.
He
was a little nervous thinking that we were going to – I was like, Len, bro, you're going to be an hour from your house.
Come
dude.
on, man. Come on. So what's we're gonna build this out of – we're going to get a big chip of stone, and we're going to chip out. So Jordan Burrow is phase 1.
Yep.
Phase 2 is –
I'm going to go James Green.
James Green is phase 2. Who is phase 3?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see, we've had a bunch of national champs.
Okay.
We've had a bunch of people who've been winning Big Ten titles. See, then are we talking international?
How many were in the finals more than 1 year?
Coach Snyder, 2-time runner-up, 4-time conference champ. So Snyder could be on the Rulon Gardner. He was here. He All-American, Olympic champ, beat the greatest Greco-Roman wrestler in the history of the world. Oh, I was a 2-time finalist, champ, 2-time Big Ten champ. Bobby Kokesh won a couple Big Ten titles. Oh, boy. Outside of the first 2, it gets tough. I'm throwing Rulon on there.
Yeah.
Olympic champ.
Yeah,
that's an Olympic gold medal.
Because that's such a moment, right?
He beat the best wrestler in the world, any style, any weight class, didn't matter. Pound for pound, number 1, best wrestler in the world, Rulon Gardner beat him.
And got him when he was at his apex. He didn't get him like at the bottom of the game.
Exactly.
Ellen. So you're not wrong in that. Snyder, yourself, and that, hey, maybe.
If we're talking just college stuff, that'd be an easier one. Once we bring in the other stuff, because then we have, oh my gosh, I'm spacing on his name, but he used to be the Greco coach for America, Matt Linlin. He won an Olympic silver and a world bronze, I believe. So it's like, now we're talking about these dudes were All-Americaning in college. They weren't winning nationals, but then they were going on and they were some of the best in the world. So if we keep it strictly college, I'm going JB1. See, and I don't know, like, the history well enough.
Well, there's another one, since we were talking about what happens beyond that may be the most famous former Husker wrestler went pro, wrestled in the WWF as Baron von Raschke. And people forget how good he was here.
See,
as a
he wrestled some international too.
Right.
He made a couple world teams. Right? Like, it's I'm gonna have to really dig into the history books.
We'll get to it.
I'm gonna need to do some homework.
Man.
I'm gonna need to do some homework.
Yeah, man. And there's an opportunity that the dude is currently that's currently in the program might make a bid.
Antrell Taylor,
he might make a
got
bid.
a natty. Brock Hardy, 3-time champ or 3-time All-American, Big Ten finalist, Big Ten champ, NCAA finalist.
Who's the next big
U23 world bronze?
Who's the next big step up?
From the guys,
like, because you think
we have the hitters.
What Mr. Minto did was ridiculous, right? Yep. So now he's up there on the high level. Who's the next to step up to that high level of when they talk about Nebraska wrestling? These folks could actually be on that in the middle of the podium come into season.
I was just talking with my roommate about it. He's out in St. Louis getting ready to take his Series 7. So good luck to him any day now. But I was on FaceTime with him yesterday, and we were talking about it. I can see Silas Allred. 184 is tough, but that dude made a run this year, hit the podium for the first time, and I see him making his way up. He can really do it. That way, some of the really, really big hitters with Starachi and Keckeisen, they graduated, so now it's time.
Yep.
Someone new is going to be coming in there, and I think it could be Silas.
Yep.
And I like Jake Van D.
Van D's a dog. We've been talking about this.
When he beat Ragusin last year in the duel, Ragusin was ranked number 2, I think. In Ragusin's career, he does not lose to people outside of the top 5. Yeah. Right? He's a perennial top 5 guy. Jake Van D's 2-0 against him.
I just think as it lines up, and again, you got new talent coming in that will certainly push. But there are folks who didn't even get on the mat last year for Nebraska that have international resume. Mm-hmm. And Husker fans, as they start talking about next year,
LJ Aruja is a big one coming in.
Right.
U20 world bronze medalist for Brazil, just made the team again this year. He's going to be, I think he's still U20. He's going to be U20 again, go chase a world gold. Right? Like them boys are tough.
Next one up.
LJ and Kale, those are the 2 big ones that we have coming from Redshirt. Kale's going to be fighting for a spot with Kaler. Both of them boys are dogs. LJ, I'm excited for LJ.
Yeah.
He wrestles a little different style. He's a little more like Brock, up a couple weights. So he's long, lanky, gets some of that slick stuff. Mm-hmm. But also, North Dakota boy, he's tough. Right, and that's
it's funny that the pockets of the country produce a certain type of wrestler, and that remains true.
And I'm excited for them. I would say returning, Jake Van D is my number 1 to really look for him to make a job. We just have to cut out some of the losses to the kids who are a little bit lower, right, and just keep doing what you're doing to the top kids. Beating Braden Davis from Penn State, beating Ragusin twice. Like he's freaking tough.
He's tough, and it was good to see him. I mean, the battle back for him. In the tournament.
Lost his first or second match, wrestled all the way back.
All the way back to get through.
That's the tough way to do it. Yeah. I tell them every year when we go to nationals, I'm like, hey,
win the first one, bro. Win the first one.
Stay on the top side as long as you can. If you stay on the top side, you ride it to the finals, great. You get some momentum, awesome. If you drop one, because we're at nationals. Yeah. Crazy stuff happens here.
Yep.
People are going to pull every trick they have out of the bag and throw it at you. It's like, stay on the top side as long as you can. Some of the boys on the team didn't listen this year, but they did a great job battling back.
Yeah. Our
worst finish was in the blood round of 12. 1 match from hitting the podium. Wow. That was our worst finish. That's a fantastic turn.
9 of 10 is still a run. Mm-hmm. Still a run. So
it was sick. It was awesome. All of nationals was awesome. And it's different there being an athlete as opposed to being a fan. Because being in the tunnel the whole time, you don't really know what's going on. Don't know who's winning. You don't know who's losing. You can kind of gauge it by looking at the brackets, and then when they come off the mat, if someone's jumping up and down, hooping, hollering, partying, be like, all right, so I guess he won. Okay, and then you see the other kid, different kid comes in crying, walking that way. It's like, all right, he lost. Okay, so this is where we're at. This is who so-and-so is going to have. Okay, Tofi's going to have this guy next. I think that kid's crying. He looks. I can't tell with him if he won or lost. But it's different. I tell people all the time, nationals it's a trip.
Just stand. It's kind of why I picked the spot that I picked, because you were getting a different perspective and you're hearing different conversations as well. It is really a Psych 101 class.
Yeah, it's different. You got to be able to read the people to find out what's going on, because you don't have a TV right in front of you. You got to go into one of the tunnels, and that's packed with coaches and kids getting ready, warming up, getting ready to walk out. So it's I saw every single one of Brock's matches. And I saw 2.5 minutes of one of Trevor's. That was all I saw the whole time.
I sat back, and it was just one amongst the reporters, but 2 in the space, and just marveling at the proximity of competitors and still coexisting in the space. Everybody locked in, everybody focused. It was about everybody's own conversation with themselves rather than the rest of it.
Yeah, me and Trelly won our national titles. We didn't even watch Stevenson, Hendrickson. We'll get right back to that. Don't go anywhere. More Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling comes your way next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
With your look inside Husker Wrestling, here is your host, Ridge Lovett, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling. I'm Ridge Lovett. Got DP in here with me. So yeah, Hendrickson, Stevenson. Me and Antrell were in the back in the tunnel, taking pictures, shirts off, holding our trophies, flexing up, posting on Instagram, Snapchat, letting everybody know that we just won. And we missed live maybe the biggest upset in college wrestling history. Gable Stevenson, Olympic champ, two-time NCAA champ, Hodge Trophy winner. Like, Gable is the man, right? He had taken over the world, went to the Olympics, won it. I was up till like 4 a.m. watching the finals, jumping up and down, screaming. My dad comes down. What are you doing? Like, dude, it's 4 a.m. I'm Gable just won. Going crazy. Heavyweight from the University of Minnesota. This year, we didn't even know if Gable was going to wrestle.
See, this is the part that when the phrase "biggest upset ever" was first whispered, and I said, well, a couple of things did he be in play. One, that he walked away from it and came back.
You don't know what the training situation was like.
Right. He now had new resources, new obligations. He had new focuses.
He was doing his WWE stuff.
Yeah.
He was on the practice squad with the Bills. He never played football.
Yeah.
But he's an athlete. He's big. He's got a frame.
Unit.
You can teach him.
He's a
right?
unit. But
just like his tattoo on his chest, that boy's a gorilla.
Yeah.
He puts people down.
Like, it was just really like watching it. But the top heavyweights in the country we're talking about. So I was like, well, no, it's like surprised. Yes. Biggest upset. I was like,
yeah. Because the training situation was a little bit different.
And
we don't know what was going on behind the scenes, what his obligations were with the WWE. If he would have bailed and went back to the NFL, if they were like, yeah, you know what, we're going to bring you on, whatever. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in Gable's life that who knows what was going on.
Well, everybody, look, the guy, his entire team wears his brand, wears his Nike brand, right? So there's those obligations, signing pictures. And he was the wrestler that every other wrestler wanted to talk to, take pictures
There was
with.
500 people in line when we told him.
Right? That's what it is.
A kid from a different team.
Right. Like
500 people going all the way up. He was out there signing autographs with our fans.
Did he do that freely?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Gable's a good dude. He's
right. Well, that was see, this is the part that he was an ambassador to a sport that he could have just said, I got mine. I'm cool. If he left, he's still Gable Stevenson. If all the way through that tournament, he's Gable Stevenson. All through Big Ten, he was Gable. All through Nationals, he was Gable until that night. And again, he didn't need that night. College wrestling, the TV.
Absolutely. That was some of the best ratings they've had, the highest viewership, just to watch him wrestle his last match.
And he was still gracious.
He was gracious. When they first came out, he was getting mad at Hendrickson. Hendrickson wrestled at Air Force, did his time there, and now he's wrestling to serve. He got like a deferral on his time, but he gets to wrestle for the Air Force Academy to serve his time, which, I mean, that's a great way to do it. I don't know how that big boy is going to be fitting into a fighter jet.
Well, that's the match, right? 265. I sent a couple of kids to Air Force Academy. They were all about 260, and the difference between them having success and not was a bad meal plan and lots of energy. I just thought it was a special night. I thought all of the lead up to that, like all the Penn State fighters, wrestlers, all of the Iowa wrestlers, and then all of the fans who were coordinated. And then there's that core group of Husker fans who made the trip and who were loud, proud, and consistent. And it was a big part of the tournament.
Absolutely. And Nebraska made a bunch of fans that tournament. The way that my boys were out there fighting, scrapping, everybody was like, this is a special.
That's what that was the talk in the hotel. So the hotel that I was staying in, I would say that 40% of it was Iowa.
They always bring a real
right.
Group.
Michigan had a group. Penn State had a big group. So 40 and 40, Iowa, Penn State, and then like droplings of everybody else. But the conversations, the whole tournament was, man, Nebraska. Because of course I was wearing the gear, like I was wearing Husker gear. So I said, I'm not going to be ashamed of it. And they were like, man, those guys are battling.
I was letting the media guys hear it because that's where our section was right above them. So I'm up there sitting on my mom's lap, holding my trophy. I'm yelling at the flow guys. You like that? You like that? Come on. Scurs by 90, baby. Quit playing with them. Quit playing.
They had to learn it. They had to learn it because a lot of the stuff in advance was not the best. So, bravo to you all for shutting them up.
It was a good weekend. Yeah. Well, I'm starting a club in Lincoln. Just announced that. Had 160 kids out there.
Okay.
Right. So in August, I'm going to be getting club going at Lincoln Christian, wrestling up in their wrestling room, fire facility, lots of space, lots of mats. A couple weeks, I'm going to be running a camp in Omaha, right? Me and Antrell are both going to be out there. Trelly's going to handle the stuff on our feet. I'm going to be doing a lot of top and bottom work. So sign up for that. I think it's NBO Life is where you can find that online. So we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. But until then, I'm off to LA, go coach out there a little bit. And then after that, going to go back home, help get my boys ready for Fargo, Team Idaho. So hopefully we have a good showing out there. Nebraska boys, Nebraska fans, if you guys are out at Fargo, see me out and about, come say what's up, come say what's good. And heck yeah. Thank you guys for listening. That was Husker Wrestling with Bridge Lovett and D.